So today's discussion is dedicated to the 6 topics of the Ontochain first call. And we would like to discuss them with all of you. So feel free to give ideas and maybe some suggestions of how we could improve on the 6 call topics. In the previous webinar, I explained the general agenda and setting of the Ontochain project. It's open calls. So the first open call of the first year of the project is dedicated to the design of the Ontochain architecture from several viewpoints. And let me just share with you then my slides. I guess you can see all now these slides. So what we would like to achieve is your immediate feedback, your ideas, whatever you feel it's important for us to further address in the project. So let me just recapitulate from the previous meeting, at least from technological viewpoint. So the project is the next generation internet project aiming to improve blockchain and to make it more appropriate for the next generation internet. So this is the context of the call ICT 54, which is designed as a blockchain for the next generation internet. And the topic, once again, is about the technologies and applications for trust management and the topics that we are going to have open in the first year of the project. The project is a meeting point between the semantic web and blockchain, because both of these technologies are intended for achieving trust. So we know also that ontologies are a shared conceptualization, while blockchain is a shared ledger. So in a way, in this project, we intend to marry these two technologies and provide new technology that would make it possible to share and use information in a trusted way on the internet. Now the actual architecture, which is elaborated also in a background document, is, as you can see, consists of several layers. The first layer is about various solutions, and we have thought at least about 4 solution domains. One is about trustworthy web and social media. The second is about trustworthy crowd sensing. The third is about trustworthy service orchestration. And the fourth application area is about decentralized, unsupervised online social networks. So if we imagine, for example, a service like Facebook without centralization, so having decentralized social networks where people can keep in touch with their friends and relatives and whoever they like, in a way that the information is shared only between them in a secure and trustworthy way. Going to the generic type of use cases we think about, and this can be further split into specific functional use cases. We have trustworthy information exchange, and we have also trustworthy and transactional content handling. Then on the level of application protocols, so this is something that represents mainly the novelty of the project. We intend to integrate a lot of knowledge management methods, but not only that, also reputation models, data provenance tracking, decentralized oracles, market mechanisms, and so on, as you can see on this figure. These are described also in a background document that will be published this week, for which you can read more in detail what we think about the specific boxes in this architecture. Then we talk also about core protocols. So the upper layer of the protocols is designed to help to address higher semantically more complex functionalities needed to achieve trustworthy information exchange and content handling. While the lower protocols are designed for basic operations, such as, for example, identity management, smart contracts management. For example, there could be a recommendation system on smart contracts, authorization, certification, and ways in between ledgers and things like this. Also for events, event gateways. And finally, we want to build on top of distributed ledgers, which are, and this could be a different type of technologies involved. We have thought of several type of technologies, and we are open to discussion with all of you. Of course, we intend to work with technologies that are already proving successful in a way. Like, for example, Ethereum or but we are absolutely open to different ideas. Now, going to the orthogonal viewpoints that are considered for the first call. So once again, if there are any questions, please feel free to interrupt, and maybe we can immediately discuss certain topics. So we have thought about the marketplace. So this means we think about the marketplace as a mechanism for finding either data, either people, either resources. On the last webinar, there was an idea about, let's say, kidney transplantation. So, for example, there are donors and recipients. So how do they find each other in a way that it's also preserving their privacy and security of the sensitive health-related information? So on the marketplace, you could think about a marketplace for containers, marketplace for, I don't know, data resources, marketplace for IoT that serve special purpose, and so on. Then we talked about applications like helping people to do fact-checking against fake information. So how do we verify whether an information is a fact or some fake news, right? Then applications related to the use of the self-sovereign digital identity, trusted and secure data management, which means that the data is stays as it has been left, and also maybe is stored for a longer period of time. For example, we've been in touch with organizations that are dealing with archiving of data for a very long period of time, like thousands or hundreds of years old information that should stay like that, should not change, and should be kept in security. Also about assets and ownership management. So short-lived changes of the ownership, and business models related to that. Then, of course, secure and transparent copyright management and verification. These are some application areas. We're not talking about domains. There could be applications in medicine. It could be in, I don't know, science, open science, with copyrights of documents and things like this. And from technology viewpoint, what we would like to achieve is trusted and secure third-party data integration in the blockchain logic, not only data, metadata, and ontological information. Then blockchain-based database access management. Also, in relation to databases, how databases can achieve properties like those that are of blockchain, but in a way that is still off-chain, which means that does not consume a lot of logic, a lot of operations and computations on the blockchain. So the integration of knowledge bases and structured databases with blockchains for specific purposes of, let's say, collaborative projects and specific projects that have time-limited duration. Then we talk about trust-based on transparent, secure, and decentralized reputation models. This is, again, a very important area. Reputation models, for example, and how this can be achieved, and how, for example, information related to reputation could be organized, stored, and even dealt with in relation to blockchains. Decentralized blockchain database concept, I already spoke about that. Then interledger technologies, meaning how do we design applications that run across different ledgers, and we use semantics to achieve the interoperability of such applications and the connectivity of the services across ledgers, and the semantic annotations within big data pipelines. These are only some technology and application-oriented areas we have thought about, but we're of course open to ideas, and we are also happy to receive them in other ways, like by email or different ways that we are going to process and improve on our first open call. In terms of application domains, we speak about several application domains, and in the end of the project, we still want to have, a selection of generic use cases and applications that are typical for Ontochain, but put in place in different domains. And here we have picked up specific domains like e-content handling, e-commerce, e-health. Also, education is a very important area because blockchains are becoming more important. So we want to have showcase applications that universities could use to improve their curricula, and different, but definitely useful areas where one could imagine real-world applications based on these techniques that I already spoke about. Now for the 6 core topics considerations. We have now improved on these topics, and I'm just going to go through them. There is a background, again, document explaining more details about these 6 core topics, which is also going to be published this week. And you have the chance also to comment on this at least for a week, for the next week. So the first core topic is about requirement analysis for trusted knowledge management. So how do we analyze the requirements in different application domains? We identify those application domains that are most fruitful for this type of applications, and what it means for our technology development. And then what we want to end up with this partner that is going to work with us is the design of a typical Ontochain application. What it means, what kind of functionalities does it use, how is it designed, how does it present to the users, and so on. And what is the innovation of this application type? So then the second topic is about the semantic interoperability, the ontologies that we wish to use in the project, the knowledge bases, the way how we structure the information and to use it in the context of the project and in the context of the blockchains, how we serialize ontologies on blockchain to be recorded in a way, what information has to be stored and what doesn't have to, shouldn't be stored, and so on. So this is on semantic interoperability topic. And we need an expert in this. Is there any question or no? So if we go to the third topic, we talk about on-chain data management, which means how do we record and what metadata do we need to record on blockchain. There are many different research papers that already deal with topics like this. We are aware of these initiatives, and what we want to see here is some useful and really approaches that really show the value of storing such pointers to data, metadata, on blockchain, and how sources and data and can be done of information and knowledge can be done on blockchain with methods that operate on blockchain. This is topic number 3. The topic number 4 is related to all these methods that cooperate with blockchain, but are not actually executed on blockchain, such as, for example, decentralized oracles, reputation models, and other aspects. And then we have the ecosystem economy, which is the market framework, which means how do we build an ecosystem that is self-sustained. What mechanisms do we need to include? I think that many people who work and organizations that develop currently blockchain-based applications strive with building their ecosystems. Sometimes these are very successful, of course. So we want to learn and build on successful cases, and we want to enhance and apply this kind of modern market frameworks and business models in the context of trusted knowledge management and in the context of this project. So we need a knowledgeable partner in this area to work with us to help achieve this goal of the ecosystem formation and enlargement, and from the economical viewpoint. And the sixth topic is more technical and related to the system scalability and integration, the development of a testbed, the contribution of external organizations, individuals and entities in our testbed, and the scalability aspects and the market take-up and joining guidance to additional participants beyond those that participate directly in the project. So here is the first application topic, which is about how do we build applications with Ontochain, what logic they have to contain, what mechanisms they need to include, and how it is possible that we build knowledge management, trusted knowledge management with blockchain. The workflows for the application design, data, metadata exchange formats between application components and things like this. So what is the typical organization of the components of an Ontochain application? We need some software engineering, and of course, not only software engineering, but also from the viewpoint of end users, partners that are going to be able to contribute to this development. Are there any questions on this, by the way?
Yeah, I have a question actually. I have not 100% understood so far what is Ontochain actually.
Have you been to the first webinar?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, so Ontochain, so you see blockchain, right? So if I go back in my slides, and did you come late at the webinar?
No, yeah, like 2 minutes because I needed to log in first.
So you saw the first slides?
No, I think I missed the first.
Okay. So I will just let me reiterate for you and maybe for others that came.
Sorry for asking this stupid question.
You see, Ontochain integrating semantic web and blockchain, right? So both of blockchain and semantic web are intended for building trust. Okay, so we want to have more trust. For example, if I take a camera, a video stream from a camera, and I want to use it for some purpose, I need to trust that this is not some fake video stream, okay? Mm-hmm. Or I need to trust that my car is really parked in my garage, okay? Or if my door, if I open the door of my home to somebody, I need to trust, and this is done by an intelligent system, I need to trust that the person who is open to is my friend, not my enemy, okay?
Thanks, yes.
And what we want to see, we see a resemblance between blockchain because people trust their money to blockchain, you know, to move money from one place to another. And in ontologies, as you can see on the right-hand side of this slide, is the semantic web stack, which aims at building trust, okay? But what it comes to, what it boils up to, is that we have currently today on the internet several very big players like Facebook and Google and so on that actually built on the semantic web stack, but actually control the information and the data and everything, you know. So what we want to achieve with this project is pluralism, democracy, you know, in the way how we build trust.
That's great, thanks.
This is very shortly, but if you look at the previous, presentation, you will be able to understand more on this.
Makes absolutely sense. No, thanks a lot. Helped a lot.
Okay, thank you for the question. So if we go further, we have thought about the different application types. So we need a partner that is going to help us together with us, even if all the partners in this project have some application ideas and they explain their application ideas. We need a partner that is going to systematically define the generic use cases, the generic application type that is going to run on Ontochain, and the functionality and you see the application types according to these categories that I presented already, like trustworthy web and social media, crowd sensing, service orchestration, and social networks. So we have these 4 types, and we want that all the participants contribute to some of these types, but we want under topic 1, one participant to take care about the big picture of the applications of Ontochain and their relationship to the technological framework. In terms of semantic interoperability, we have thought about the potential So what we want to do is to build a transparent, secure, and traceable approach to manage access and operations over ontologies and metadata actually in the ecosystem. Of course, we are open to exploring ideas with linked data. So the best feasible way. So we don't want to have heavy semantic way approaches. What we want to do in this project is to be more practical in nature and to have, let's say, to explore the potential, for example, of linked data technologies. There could be, of course, ontologies. We need an expert in semantic operability to address, I think, this topic together with us. And we want to see how these concerns related to interoperability, semantic interoperability are going to be split between information that is gathered outside blockchain and information which is being recorded and stored on blockchain. Just to reiterate, there are several papers we read and research studies and prototypes that, for example, record hash information from digital objects, and they store it on blockchain to just make sure that this did not change. There are other approaches, but imagine that metadata is being stored on blockchain. Those that is very important for certain scenarios. In this case, this kind of metadata can be used for various purposes, and we could imagine interesting statistical models, reputation models, and so on. So we need an expert to deal with these approaches. Also operations related to metadata and these kind of things, and compliance with standards related to, let's say, semantic web and other standards. We're open really to receive ideas on the shaping of any of the 6 core topics. For us, these 6 topics are kind of very important, and we want to discuss with you what you think is obsolete and what you think should be improved, or maybe you have some better ideas. Now we come to on-chain data management. Well, the previous topic was more about the metadata formats, about the semantics. This is about the actual functions that need to be put in place in order to be able to record and use information directly on chain, to verify the integrity of the data, to verify, let's say, ontological instances on the blockchain. There could be many different ideas here, and we need a partner to, analyze the state of the art, and of course propose for us the best possible and the most practical functions that need to be implemented in order to be able to manage in a very trustworthy way, let's say, metadata, data, ontologies on blockchain. I wondered at this point if what I'm saying is clear to those that are that came to follow this talk. So can somebody say, yes, I understand this, or no, I don't understand anything what I'm saying?
It's clear for me.
It's clear. Beautiful.
Yeah,
yes, it makes sense.
It's so, well written, actually.
Excuse me?
Yeah, actually, it's well written, actually.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry, can I just ask a question? So basically, if it's not a problem,
yes,
we can wait later on. So basically, on-chain data management. So this would be kind of a public ledger or a private ledger, or that's not defined. Basically, the idea is to keep it open.
We keep it open, you know, because there
Okay.
could be different ledgers, but generally speaking, we talk about, let's say, Ethereum ledger,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps Hyperledger Fabric. But if you come with an idea, for example, that there is some specific ledger technology which is the best possible, you know, for this kind of thing, we could also consider this, of course. So if you have an idea, even now, you can propose to us some idea. Okay.
Okay, just a quick background. Basically, I'm one of the developers that's working for Ethereum Foundation, and we're exploring basically for one of our private solutions, basically how to scale and how to put data on blockchains and generally on different like distributed storages. And currently, the main problem with Ethereum is congestion. Of course, like you can't put a lot of transactions on it, and the things that you could use is distributed storage like IPFS or Swarm. Maybe some of you guys heard about it. And some of those things could be used. So basically a ledger for just indexing data or just, let's say, a tree of the whole data, and then the actual data on some of those distributed systems. Just sorry for interrupting, just that part was on my mind. So
Well, I've been in touch with, for example, IBM Haifa, and we discussed, and we actually, I have presentation on the previous webinar. There is one of the slides which shows the concept of a blockchain knowledge base, okay, or blockchain database. So if you imagine you have very costly operations running on, let's say, Ethereum or Hyperledger Fabric, and then you need to obtain some other additional semantic information, then what you could design is a database or knowledge base that could run for a specific period of time in relation to, let's say, blockchain and the records on blockchain, and would contain much more information and be all the time in the memory, and all the operations will be very fast and so on. So there are ideas where these two worlds would be matching each other, and this is exactly the area covered by the project, you know, the world of off-chain with the world which is on-chain, and the trade-offs between these two worlds.
Okay, yeah.
So this, I would imagine, would be of interest to Ethereum Foundation, right? You said you work.
No, I'm not representing Ethereum Foundation. I'm just working on some projects for them, but I'm not representing in any case Ethereum Foundation. So just to clarify that. We're working on some of our projects, and basically what we are using is you have two options. Basically, currently rollup, so one of the things, or ZK snarks and generally ZK related stuff. And the other is if you want to have storage not directly on chain on Ethereum, but or Hyperledger Fabric, you could use some of the like distributed databases as you like mentioned. So there are solutions out there that could be used, and there is also the monetization, and the whole basically idea is already relatively available. So there are definitely some other that could be used. Okay, I won't interrupt you anymore. Sorry.
Thank you very much for your comment, actually. And if there is any other comment of any other participant, please go ahead. I'm happy to hear that the ideas here are not something out of the blue. Okay, then we have, of course, the way. Some constraints of what amount of data should be stored on blockchain and how do we, so there could be all methodology and process of what information has to be recorded on blockchain and what could be recorded, for example, in a blockchain database. And by doing so, one would, let's say, achieve the similar properties and run specific projects and be really have some business value out of this. But these are things that people are already thinking about, and this project is kind of directly in the center, trying to address this important research and innovation questions. So for off-chain knowledge management, improving of existing and proposing new approaches. where suitable protocols, as we said, dealing with smart contracts and decentralized oracles. Sorry for this smart word. We decided to use decentralized oracles as a technical term in the project. Then the building of reputation models and their integration with provenance data and authorization and identification components. So how do we establish reputation in a very loosely coupled systems? For example, I move from Ljubljana with my car, I go to Prague, and then how do I establish my reputation, my good or bad reputation in Prague? So I think these kind of things could go together with, of course, privacy and security. So all these things are, of course, possible and interesting. In terms of services orchestration, we have thought, for example, about trusted execution environments. The company iExec that participates in our project have a technology, iExec technology. There is a reference to this, and it's Apache version 2 licensed software code that enables the execution within, for example, SGX environments of, let's say, orchestration of containers and things like this. So we think that one of the feasible approaches for this project is to address, let's say, orchestration in a trusted execution environments. And in this context, again, we talk about off-chain knowledge management. Of course, we also talk about the governance of this information. What are the rules that one has to abide in order to push data to smart contracts, proof of executions, proof of different types of proofs that are off-chain running. So mainly, let's say, we consider decentralized oracles, reputation models, and this kind of problems. Let's go to the next topic, is the system ecosystem economy. In the ecosystem economy, what we want to see is how we facilitate the management of assets. How do we build a business ecosystem based on semantically complex, dynamic, and decentralized? If we trust the information, how do we make ecosystem of, let's say, kidney donors and kidney recipients across Europe? This is a very interesting application. I just remember from the previous webinar, because it was suggested, I would imagine that building an ecosystem just for this would be very complex to be achieved. And of course, we need to govern private information and things like this. So it's very, very complex. And how do we facilitate the building of such an ecosystem from actors that do not even know about it? So we need to somehow, incentivize those actors to become part of the ecosystem. And these are very challenging problems, as you all know. So we want to see this market framework, how actors would enter the ecosystem, and the value that they are going to achieve from becoming part of an ecosystem like this. I think this is, again, an important question for many people who work on different applications in the domain of, let's say, blockchains. I guess there are some of you who already have some experience on this. Maybe I could open it for a couple of minutes for any feedback here. So do you have any feedback from your experience on how difficult or easy it is to build an ecosystem based on some blockchain application?
Hello, I have a question, if it's possible.
Yes.
I'm listening this presentation, but from the beginning, I don't understand the business model, how we can fit into your project and what do you expect from us? I think this is very important to explain at the beginning.
So how you can fit and what do we expect? So
yes,
these are,
what you are actually, what are you looking for actually? Do you need some consultancy? Do you need some ideas, or you need some final project? I don't understand business model.
Okay, so let me just once again, I think, reiterate, because we have already, I think, explained also in the previous one, but also in this presentation, I try to all the time explain the type of expertise needed and what are the outcomes needed from those people, those organizations that will participate in the project.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if we talk about ecosystem economy, we need a partner. So in the beginning, we will have 3 partners, out of which probably we will select one partner that is going to work with us for 5 months and will receive around, I think, 90,000 euro to the problem is defined as how do we make an economy, of actors based on the technology of this project. So, for example, if we talk about a use case like an application in the domain, let's say I just mentioned this in the domain of this kidney transplantation, and we are looking for donors and recipients, but it could be also in copyright management, or it can be also in, let's say, educational area of, let's say, how do we use blockchains in education, okay? So we need to start from scratch, right? Because this project is starting from scratch. And here we need an expert partner who probably even have a positive experience with some blockchain applications of building an ecosystem. For example, let me just give you once again an example. We want to develop a car sharing system, which we are going to record information about how the users use the cars, okay? And the system will be decentralized and people will be able to share their cars. So I would be able to share my car on the market by just filling in a form about my car, how good it is or how bad it is, and I will publish this on Ontochain, okay? Will be published on, that will be recorded on blockchain. Some information will go maybe to some database, to some other system, okay, to decentralized Oracle. And then there will be other reputation model, okay, that will establish the quality of the car, that will establish the quality or the, I don't know, is the trustworthiness of the person who is going to use the car, okay? And then there would be insurance company that is going to pay for the insurance, okay? Sorry? If you could please mute. Okay, so I want to just explain until the end this use case. And, so now what we are doing is we are managing some information and knowledge related to the cars. System, okay? But the goal of this topic number 5 and how the system, the economical system will be made, but they will have a win-win situation, and people will come to this system to use it because they will really benefit from privacy, from security, from knowledge management, from trustworthiness, from all these high-level aspects that Ontochain is going to provide to them. Is this clear?
Okay,
yes,
maybe
it's clear. Yes, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, I have one question actually. So in terms of this proposal application, what is more important, like economical aspect of the application, so value of maybe how can like we can profit with this application, or like better that this application do like good for the mankind actually, so basically something in the health system, or like what is more important in the I understand that both are important, but like what do you seek what would you like to better, like some application that like can create a lot of money, or some application that actually with use of this Ontochain technology can make a better world. So what is, on which side is more more weight?
So if there is a very great application that can create a lot of money and it uses the concepts of the project, of course we are for this, you know. I would also go for, of course, you see, because all these topics are designed to address specific aspects of the project, right? So if you're talking about an application, you know, so we're not going to give money in the project for a single application. We're going to give money in this project to people, organizations, and you know, academic also organizations, or SMEs, or industry, or groups of people, let's say, that are going to apply to address one of the 6 topics. And this means that you could have, and you could start with ideas of good applications. There is a questionnaire in the call text that will ask you to explain what are the implications in the on applications, and what are the implications on technology, right? But the key goal is to find partners in this project that are going to help us define this, let's say, if we talk about partner number 5, number 5 is the partner that is expert in ecosystem economy and can help us in one of these, or maybe more of these applications. You know, you say, for example, you have a good application that is going to make millions, right? But this is just an idea that you have, right? But how do we know that your application is actually going to generate millions, you know? So we have partner here that is going to help us design an innovative approach that will help, you know, by following it, to make these millions, you know. So this is the goal of topic number 6. How do we make an economy based on trusted knowledge management, and how we make in the final instance also money, right? All of us.
Yeah. So maybe just one question here. So how many partners you will choose on the first call? And maybe just to recap, what is the deadline of the first call, and when will be out?
Okay.
If
So the first
possibly
call,
it's already out.
the first call will be out end of this month, and we are currently shaping the call topics. Okay, so that's why I'm presenting. So if you have better ideas, feel free, even after this call, you know, you can send us an email and suggest something, you know, and we're going to take this into account. Now, speaking about the first call of the project, it has 3 phases. In the first phase, which takes 3 months' time, we will accept from 12 to 18 partners, okay? And these partners, there will be 2 to 3 partners in each of the topics, of the 6 topics. And in 3 months' time, these partners will produce a research and innovation project, proposal. They will work with us to prepare a more detailed explanation of what would be done in the next phase, in the second phase. Then we will select out of these 3 partners, let's say, 1 partner per topic. And 1 partner per topic will gain 90,000 euro to work for 5 months with us and to really in detail with prototypes and verification mechanisms address each of the 6 topics. And in the final stage, which is the 3rd phase, these 6 participants will have the opportunity to publish this work in journals or conferences or industrial forum as well. Whatever novelty they find, they will have the opportunity to publish that, and for that they will receive 8,000 euro, so this is additional 1 month. And of course, together with us. So this is how we imagine the first year of the project, which will end up with detailed specifications for implementation in the 2nd project year. Okay, so for example, this topic of ecosystem economy will end up with selection of mechanisms that are really particularly good for the project, and we agree they're good, and we are going to implement them in the 2nd and 3rd years of the project. And there will be additional call at the end of the 1st year, and you could still apply because the maximum possible funding is 200,000 euro per partner. So you could still apply for this in the 2nd year of the project. Did I explain this okay?
Yeah, that's perfectly makes sense. Okay, just to recap the first part. So basically the first part, the first 3 months, there will be no funding for this first 3 months.
There will be 24,000 euro.
24, okay, fair enough.
Something around this amount. We are still discussing, but yes, there will be funding also to prepare the project proposals, but this means that what we want from you is also to engage with, and innovative ideas, to help us shape the design of Ontochain. Okay, so we are still speaking about a next generation internet project, which is meant for the next 1,000 years, and what we want to achieve in this project, and I spoke in the first webinar, is those things that are coming from, let's say, even European cultural history, which means the most important, let's say, achievements like, respect of human rights, respect of plurality, respect of democracy. These are the things that in Europe we value a lot. And what we want to achieve with this new technology is that the technology adapts and uses those things that are really important to us as humanity and Europeans as Europeans, right? So that, and these are the things that we want to see in the applications in the 3rd year, coming out of this, those values out of the application designs and so on. Of course, in the end, we want to be practical in the project. Okay, so
can I just one quick question? So this is a European project. So basically, I have a company in UK. This is not a problem because of the Brexit, right?
So far, there is no problem. Maybe they make a deal, right?
Okay, no problem.
So it's based on the incorporation country of the project. Am I correct in understanding?
Which country?
I mean, the definition of this project being a European project is based on the country of incorporation of the projects that are willing to participate.
So the equity-free funding is available to member states of the European Union, associated member countries, right? So associated countries, of course, for example, Israel or Switzerland, you know, there are many countries that are also associated and they can receive funding as well. And of course, the European member states. So is this the question?
Yes, yes, you answered
Okay.
it. Thank you so much.
Where I can see again the 6 categories. So the one was ecosystem growth.
Yes, and then the final category. Do you want to see the 6 categories
Yes.
again, or?
Yeah, I took actually a screenshot, but I haven't seen.
Yeah,
Maybe.
this is the 6th category, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about scalability and integration of the ecosystem. So adding more ledgers, adding more, technologies to the ecosystem that is going to be used to showcasing, right?
Yeah.
This is the 6th category.
And the other 5? Because I haven't seen the overview so far.
The overview, I spoke a lot about the overview on this slide. I spent, I think, 5 or 10 minutes on this. Can you see? Slide number 8. Can you see the slide?
Are you sharing your screen? Yeah.
Am I not?
No, you're not sharing screen.
But was I sharing my screen before?
Yes, you are.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I don't know how this happened. So here is the, yeah. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
This is slide number 8. So I showed it before, and you will be seeing that in the recordings. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
And finally, what we want to see is that our participants also explain how they contribute to the project key performance indicators. These are, for example, the promise of 20 innovative use cases, new, technologies, and so on. So we want to see how the project participants will contribute to this. We're going to publish this week a background document that is going to explain more in detail all these aspects of the project. And we're also going to publish these slides and another document which is going to be the draft for the call text of the 6 call topics. We are also preparing other documents which are going to be getting ready in the next days. So by the end of this month, we intend to publish the first call. So if there are any ideas or opinions, we are very happy to receive them. With this, I would like to conclude. I would like to thank you all for your participation, for your attention to this project. We hope that you would be interested to collaborate with us, to submit some project proposal in the end. So thank you very much again. On the website of the project, you have a lot of contact details and also on these slides. So thank you. And we are also happy to get in touch with you so that we understand better where you come from, what you want to propose, and so on. So thank you very much and have a nice day and end of the week.